Hi my darlings, I'm Sophie Darling and welcome back to the channel. Today we're reacting to episode 22 of Vinland Saga. We only have 2 more episodes after this one before series 1 is over, which is kind of wild. I thought maybe series 1 would be longer. I kind of thought the same thing with Apothecary Diaries. I thought Apothecary Diaries series 1 was longer, but it's not. Both of them are 24 episodes and it goes by so fast. Was Attack on Titan 24 or was it, maybe it was more, maybe it was 26, I'm not sure. Maybe that's why I'm like locked into this idea that series 1 has to be longer. I might be misremembering, I don't know. But last episode absolutely sucker punched me because I knew that Bjorn was dying, but I thought Bjorn had already like passed away and then we saw him again, so then part of me was like hopeful that Bjorn maybe wasn't gonna die and that could recover. No. And the fact that he admitted to him that he was his friend. I was absolutely heartbroken, and Thorfinn and Asgard are now gonna have their duel straight after he's already lost Bjorn, who was like his only friend. So how that's gonna play out, I'm not sure. I did delve into it in the previous episode where I said that I thought that Thorfinn maybe might not be able to go ahead with actually killing Askeladd because it's not what his father wants for him. Leif is here and has put the idea of going home back into his head. He's had visions in previous episodes about going home where his father tells him that revenge is not the path that he needs to take and that he needs to give up on this and to return to his mom and sister. He has to go back and protect them and look after them. He's understanding that this isn't the life that he really wants. He doesn't enjoy battle, he doesn't enjoy war, he doesn't enjoy the bloodshed, but he's so angry that he can't see another way ahead. He's going down to this singular path, and this singular path is so entrenched in anger that he is kind of blinded to anything else, blinded to the hope of a better life for himself, blinded to what his father actually wanted for him and how his father would be absolutely devastated that his son has had to go through all of this. This is everything that he wanted to protect his son from. And avenging his father through killing Asgard isn't what his father would want. It wouldn't make his father happy. It wouldn't bring honor to his father's name. If anything, the honorable thing would be for Thorfinn to live the life that his father wanted for him. That's the true way to honor him. He just doesn't quite recognize it. He comes so close and then he misses the point entirely. And he misses it because, again, he's just a traumatized kid. He's still really angry and he thinks this is going to heal him, and it's not. It's just so sad to watch because he's so close to understanding it, and then something comes up where it reminds him of the trauma of what his dad went through, and it reasserts to him that he has to kill the person that did this. He has to get revenge, but revenge isn't going to heal him. Revenge is just going to make things worse. It's not going to heal the hole. Healing the hole would be to live the life that his father wanted for him, return to his mother and sister who were worried about him, and living the rest of his days following the philosophy that his father had outlined for him, essentially, to become this great warrior that doesn't need a sword. But I think the reality may hit him that it's harder to kill someone you know. And as much as he's harbored this hatred for Askeladd, he still has spent the past God knows how many years, 11 years with him. He has kind of become like a de facto father figure to him. He's trusted Thorfinn with tasks that he hasn't necessarily trusted anyone else with. There is like a weird little father-son dynamic there. There is connection and affection between them. And I think the fantasy versus the reality may come into play here. He's fantasized about killing Askeladd, but can he actually do it when reality grants him that opportunity? I don't think so. But without further ado, we're going to get into episode 22. If I cry again this episode, I'm not going to be happy. It just sucker punched me out the blue. The music is so good in this show. They're really making us relive this. Cool. Thanks. It wasn't heart-wrenching enough to see it once. To like watch it again in full.
俺のたった一人の友達だ。
I'm like trying to hold it together. I'm like, I'm trying so badly not to cry. It's so mean to do this. Oh, this is just cruel. That was just so mean. There was no need. There was absolutely no need for that.
くそ。いつもとは違うな。
かけるかい?
Acting differently because he's just lost someone
ど
close
ち
to
らも死
him.
なぬうちに止める。
こんな手だれ同士の決闘、そうそう拝めるもんじゃねえんだ。
But he needs them both alive. They're both vital to him.
アシェラッドかな。奴に銀1ポンド。
かけぬぞ。なぜそう思う？
なんとなく雰囲気。
トルフィンはそなたに勝ったのであろう。
But
アシュラットは
with
それ以上か。
Askeladd's help, though.
てめえ王子、なめてんな。
He took offense to that. But it was Askeladd that told him his weak spot. Without Askeladd, Thorfinn wouldn't have beat him.
負けたり簡単に順序がつかねえのが面白いんだよ。
興味ない。
てめえやっぱ女だろ。
Just because he thinks differently about this and doesn't find value in it doesn't mean he's effeminate or a woman. I hate this idea that the only way to be a man is to fight, is to be a warrior.
しょうがねえな。
Because Thor's proves that it's entirely wrong, that there is... Oh?
来い、坊主。
He doesn't need a sword to beat you. Ooh.
さっきの訂正、勝負になってねえやこれ。
It's a lesson.
たく、成長のねえガキだ。トルケルに勝って調子に乗ったが、いい加減うんざりするぜ。
やめよ、そこまでだ。
片手でこの俺に勝てると思ったか。
He's teaching him a lesson. He's making a point.
まったく、今日はクソ
That this
気のいい
rash
日だ。
attitude isn't going to get him anywhere. He won't kill him. He can't bring himself to do
もう
it.
よせ。気絶している。
Will this be the wake up
Waka.
moment? That this
Kiss or
isn't
more what
going to bring him
Sonata
happiness.
Waka.
This isn't going to help him.
よせ。もう終わりだ。てめえ。気を失ったのだ。右腕が治ってからまたやり直せ。
治っても同じですよ。怪我のせいじゃねえ。そのバカはバカだから負ける。普段はちった考えて戦うようになってきちゃいるが。
But he's too emotional when he fights Askeladd.
血が昇ったら全部台無しだ。首筋を狙ってるのが目線で丸分かりなんだよ。
He's not hiding where he's aiming.
ぶち切れてでけえ声出して。獲物振り回すのはバカの戦。
He did it with Thorkill.
俺は戦士ってのは大嫌いだ。ノルド戦士。バイキングは特にな。初めて殺した相手もノルド戦士だった。美しくない男だ。
Was it his dad?
俺の親父だ。
That doesn't shock me.
小僧、工学のために教えてやる。憎い相手の殺し方をな。
He hated him more than he hated anyone else. See, this is the thing. When he fought against Thorkill again, Thorfinn lost his temper. When there was the mention of his father and that he didn't really know his father because he didn't really pay attention to his words, that got to him, that pissed him off to the point that he became easy to read. He loses himself too quickly in the heat of the moment. He's not thinking rationally, and that's what Asgard keeps trying to drive home to him. You keep trying, but you get emotional every time you fight me, and it's easy to beat you because I know where to target. I know how to get under your skin. I know that you're not concealing where you're aiming for because you hate me that much that you refuse to conceal your hatred. Like he was able to conceal his hatred from Sven when Sven was insulting his mother. Thorfinn's not able to do that with Asgard. He's very young, he's very hot-headed, he's very heated, he's very driven by this anger, and this anger isn't helping him. It's just causing more pain and more suffering in the long run. He's never going to beat Askeladd because he can't, because Askeladd just reads him too well, knows him too well, understands this hatred, and knows Thorfinn better than Thorfinn knows himself. He loses himself to it. He fights so well when he's not driven by anger, when he's not driven by this irrational, emotional response. He's calm and methodical when he fights other people because there's no emotion driving it. Whereas when there's emotion driving it, he's not thinking straight, he's not thinking properly. And Asgard's been trying to teach him this, and he just doesn't listen, he just doesn't pay attention. And that's why Asgard's saying you're always going to lose. But unless you harness that and mask your hatred, you'll never beat me. And he wasn't even fully healed here. So it was just asking for it. He's just not thinking clearly because he's just so driven by anger that he can't help himself. And it just makes you sad for him because he's just a boy. He's just a kid who misses his dad, who wants to make his dad proud, but this isn't making his dad proud. And it's just sad and hard to watch because you just want him to understand this and to go home, but the only person that can understand it is Thorfinn. You could say this to him until the cows come home. Thorfinn won't change unless Thorfinn wants to. That's the issue. That's the problem. He won't change unless he begins that journey himself. I wonder how old Askeladd was when he killed his dad.
おふくろは病気で働くことができなかった。
Must have been before he took her back to Wales.
火事場や馬屋の下働きだった。体はいつも灰やすすや馬のクソやらで白かったり黒かった。
Which links to Sven making fun of his name, of being covered in ash, yeah. Son of a warrior, but not treated as such. God, he looks so like his dad, doesn't he?
名を与えたのは本妻の産んだ年長の子供たちだけだった。おふくろは若い頃、親父のお気に入りの奴隷だったそうだが、
But then she got
病を得
sick.
てからは犬と同じ扱い。
She wasn't able to perform her duties. What a disgusting man.
どうやらおふくろは違ったようだ。
Oh, look at his face. He just wants to make her happy.
おふくろはよく先祖の
He
英雄
loves her so
アルトリウスの
much.
話をした。同じ話を何度もした。
She was probably the only one to show him true
500年前
kindness.
蛮族の侵入からおふくろの故郷を守った将軍の伝説だ。自分を病や奴隷身分から解き放ってくれる者の再来をな。俺も信じるようになった。
No.
遥か西の彼方、常人にはたどり着くことのできない彼岸の地に、英雄アルトリウスの住む楽土があるという。
The similarities between him and Thorfinn is kind of crazy. Both of them harbored anger and this need for revenge for the person that they love and care about most. Askeladd against his father because of the way that his mother was treated, and Thorfinn against Askeladd because of how his father was treated. Both of them as young boys were idealistic about a better life elsewhere, about hope and potential promise in the West, because Thorfinn is told about Vinland and Asgard is told about Britain with Artorias. Well, not necessarily Britain, but Wales. Wales is part of Britain, but I digress. the land to the west. Both of them envision going there, of having a better opportunity, of traveling, of having the world open to them. And I think that's why Askeladd likes Thorfinn so much, is that he sees a lot of himself in Thorfinn. He sees that same anger and revenge driven mindset that he had, that same lust for adventure, that same desire for a better life that he also felt as a child. He can recognize that trauma and suffering because he too felt that way. He too had to deal with these turbulent emotions and mastered them and overcame them. He's trying to help him. He's trying to teach him a lesson here, a valuable lesson of how to move forward, of how to be stronger. It's just whether Thorfinn listens to him is the question. But the similarities between them are crazy.
もし本当にご先祖様がそんないいところに暮らしてるならよ、好き好んでこんな世界に帰ってくるわけやねえ。
Like it's a foolish hope.
そして俺が11の時ついにおふくろの心が折れた。よりにもよってたまたま通りかかった親父のことを
Was Artorias
ア
returned?
ルトリウスと勘違いしたらしい。
Oh, he's gonna rush in to protect his mom.
この時アルトリウスがおふくろを助けに来ない。
He had to be
そんな
her
ものは永
hero.
遠に来ないのだと。誰かがやらねばならん。英雄でも神でもね。誰かがな。
Oh, he was so close as well. God,
不思議なもんだ。
look at him.
初めて使ったのに剣は俺の手によく馴染んだ。俺の体に目の前のクソ野郎の血が流れている証拠だと思った。
I might cry. I'm really proud of him for protecting his
涙が出
mom.
るぜ。
その女の子か。わしの子か。
そうです。
The fact that he doesn't know that that's his child because he's had that fucking many with random women is insane.
見込みがある。今日から館に進め。
He doesn't want to.
さすがに11歳のガキにやれる相手とは思ってなかった。
He had to bide his time.
まずは親父の目に留まること。成功だ。腹違いの兄貴たちともうまくやってた。
Did he kill his half brothers as well? Probably.
いつも親父を立てるように気を使ってね。
Played the doting son, the perfect son. Until he could get his revenge.
奴隷暮らしから救ってくれた恩を決して忘れない忠実な息子だった。この作業に2年をかけたぜ。
He never forgot where he came from. Never forgot his mother. Yep.
親父の油断と遺産の相続権だ。お前らにも見せてやりたかったよ。親父のあのなぜって面。
You know what's interesting as well? The fact that he killed his father when his father was asleep in bed, and Thorfinn couldn't do that to Askeladd. Again, showing their similarities but also their contrasts, because he knew that the only way he could defeat his father and inherit his property was to be accepted, to fall in line with the expectations of him as the son of Olaf, but also taking him unaware, catching him off guard, and then inheriting his property by taking out likely his half brothers too, so that no one could contest his right. And then in having the right, he could elevate his mom and save her from a life of slavery. and he wasn't willing to run the risk of losing his life, because by losing his life, he would also condemn his mother to further suffering. He needed to live in order to ensure that she no longer suffered, that she benefited from his elevation. So to him, it's not about honor or not. He did what he believed to be the smart tactic, whereas Thorfinn is so driven by this idea of honor in avenging his father that he throws himself headfirst into this duel time and time and time and time again, even though he knows he's never going to win. He's beating his head against a brick wall, hoping that the result's going to be different each time, and it's not. If he had been smart and tactical, he would have killed Askeladd in his sleep, like he intended to do. But he didn't, because he felt it went against his honor. It went against his father's honor, and Askeladd's like, well, I don't have any honor and I don't care about those things. All I want is to ensure that my mom is safe and protected and that I inherit what I believe is rightfully mine. I admire Askeladd quite a lot, to be fair. I understand why Thorfinn didn't kill Askeladd in his sleep, but at the same time, I think it is just an interesting contrast between two characters that are very similar in terms of what they have been through. Of course, it's not completely identical, but I think this episode is very clearly drawing a comparison between the two and how they're very similar in terms of the anger and resentment that they feel because of the trauma that they've gone through, but also the differences in terms of Askeladd deciding that he hates being a warrior, he hates warriors, and he hates this concept of honor because he thinks it's stupid and it will get you killed. That you need to be smart, even if that means doing the dishonorable thing. Because what's the point of being honorable if you're going to die in the process? He'd rather be dishonorable and live and be smart about it than to die with honor and be a warrior to inherit Valhalla, which he doesn't fully believe in anyway. So he's like, what's the point? What's the point of it all? I'd rather be dishonorable and live and benefit from it than to die with honor and nothing changes. I'm dead. There's nothing gained. Whereas Thorfinn doesn't seem to care about his own life so long as he avenges his father, which is just not the right mentality to have. But I get it, because his father was an honorable man. But if Thorfinn truly wanted to honor his father, he would just give up on this need for revenge and not pursue Askeladd any further.
使ったのは兄貴の剣だ。親父と仲の悪い奴から選んで盗
Oh, so no one blamed Askeladd.
む。犯人と思い込んで、そいつをリンチにかけちまえんの。まったく単純な奴らだぜ。アルトリウスでもラグナロクでも、最後の審判でも何でもいいからよ。マジに来るなら急いでもらいたいもんだぜ。まあ、そん時は俺も生きちゃいられねえだろうがな。あ、長くなったらよくないんだ。トルフィン。
That's a long story.
10年以上かけて俺一人倒せないお前はボンクラだって話さ。
俺は何があってもてめえを殺す。絶対殺してやる。
You didn't listen to a word he said, did you?
言ってるそばからそれかよ。犬めてえに餌に釣られて駆け回りやがって。おめえの働きにはマジで頭が下がるよ。
He's cutting
シャ
him
バンみ
loose.
てえな決闘に付き合ってやるだけで、あのトルケルにまでホイホイ挑んでいくんだもんな。トールズにも感謝しねえとな。
See, he's proving the point. He's riling you up. And you're falling for it again.
うるせえうるせえうるせえ黙れ。今は傷を癒せ。よさぬか。
Oh, hug him. Hug him like you hugged Bjorn. He needs it. Shut up, Thorkel. I love you, but shut up.
英雄の末裔はそなたであろう、アシュラット。再起もある。己自身が王となり、世を変えようとは思わぬのか。
あなたの方が王にふさわしい。俺はスベン王よりもね。顔見りゃわかります。俺は ただのバイキングですよ。
He's cursed by his blood in his mind because he's too like his father. He is what he hates, and therefore he can't see himself being the king, whereas Canute is kind and benevolent and accepting and loving of all, would hopefully bring peace and unity to this land in a way that no one else could. Orphan, just go home, please. It's been 10 years. Just go home with Leif. Go see your mum. It's what your father would want. He told you to give up on this. It's just so heart-wrenching every time because it's just like, Thorfinn, go home, my boy. Just go home. Just pack up and go. You'd be so much happier instead of just repeating this cycle of pain and anger and revenge. It's not getting you anywhere. You hate it. You're not happy and you're not succeeding. And Asgard is trying to make you understand that like, after everything, you still can't kill me because you're still hell-bent on this honorable way forward, and this honorable way forward isn't necessarily the right way to do things. You're not being smart about it. You're being impatient, you're being hot-headed, and you're being irrational. Give up on it. Your father wouldn't want this either. And he's saying, look, I've been able to play you like a fiddle. I have to thank your father for that because your desire for revenge has you chasing after it like a dog, blind loyalty, just refusing to think about anything else other than what you're pursuing. Therefore, you're making dumb mistakes, dumb decisions because you're latching on to this need for revenge that's just not coming to fruition. It's so frustrating. It is so frustrating. But he's just a kid, and I have to keep reminding myself that he's a child because I can't be angry at him because I get it. He's a traumatized young boy. The only life he's known for the past 10 years is war and violence and battle. He doesn't know any better. He doesn't know a different way of being because the life he had with his family back home in times of peace and happiness feel like a distant memory. He's never going to remember that because it was so long ago, and everything else has piled on top of him, and the trauma and the anger, all of that is compounded that he's forgotten what peace is like. And therefore, he can't remember that time. He can't remember a different life, a different way of being. And I want him to go home. I need him to go home at this point. He's just not helping himself. He's causing himself more harm in the long run. I love that we got a bit more of Asgard's story. Asgard is one of the characters that I have a love-hate relationship with. I find myself loving him and admiring him and being really infatuated with his story. And then there's times where he does stuff and I'm like, I fucking hate you. But for the most part, I think Askeladd is my favorite character of Vinland so far. I don't think anyone quite comes close to him. I think for me, it's Askeladd and Canute are my two favorite characters. And I think it's because I admire Askeladd for his intelligence, for how smart and rational he is, but also the compassion that he shows his mother. Even though he got taken into the hall as his father's son, he could have forgot about his mother. He could have lived this life that he always wanted and be grateful for the opportunity to be accepted by his half-brothers and be one of the children his father recognizes, but he doesn't. He can't forget what happened to his mother. He can't forget what they did to her. And therefore, if Artorias isn't going to come and rescue his mom, then he's going to do it. Even though he frames a half-brother for the incident, but still, I say incident as if he didn't just slaughter his father and his father's wife. But the point is that he is noble and honorable in his own way. It doesn't often seem that way because he is a bit of a weasel, but it's smart, it's tactical, it's intelligence, it's knowing when to strike and when to hold back. It's knowing when to let your emotions be released and when to hide them so that you don't show your vulnerabilities and your weaknesses. And he's trying to teach Thorfinn this, and Thorfinn's just not paying attention. He even says to him, after everything I've just said to you, and you still come out with this. Like, he's frustrated with him because he wants him to get it. He wants him to understand what he's trying to teach him. And he wouldn't be teaching him if he didn't actually give a shit about Thorfinn. If he didn't care about Thorfinn, he would have killed Thorfinn long ago. He cares about him. He wants him to get it. He wants him to understand it. He's trying to make him see. And he's trying to relate to him by showing that, you know, he has a traumatic backstory too. And this is how he got his revenge. He's trying to teach him how to get revenge on the person he hates most. And Thorfinn is just, again, like a dog chasing after food. Eyes set on one thing and one thing only, and is refusing to listen to advice or guidance or anything else. It's just, I can sense Asgard's frustration because it's the same frustration that I feel. It's the frustration of how many times before the message sinks in. But again, he is young, he is a kid. It's not going to sink in initially, but I'm hoping after this episode we see him begin to contemplate and reflect, because he's very taken aback and stricken by Askeladd's words and losing the duel, and the mention that Askeladd has to thank his father for essentially being able to manipulate Thorfinn because of his trauma and his desire for revenge, that he's able to puppet him to fight his battles for him so that he doesn't have to get his hands dirty. But again, Thorfinn needs to just let go. It's easier said than done. I know that. It is hard to forget the pain that you feel, especially the loss of a parent. But at some point, he needs to understand that this is doing nothing for him other than creating more pain and more suffering in the long run. I do love that Canute asks him why he picked him, and it's because he does embody the characteristics of Artorias. He is the next best thing if Artorias isn't going to return to this world. And as Asgard said, why would he? If he was in a better land, why would he come back to this? No one would. And he recognizes that. So he's placed his bets on someone that models those same characteristics, to make his mum proud, to live up to what his mum wanted him to be, which was the staff and the sword of a great king. She means Artorias, but he sees Canute as this great king, as somebody that can bring peace to this realm, to be a better man than all of them put together. And I think it's the fact as well that Canute isn't a warrior in the traditional sense, because Asgard hates warriors, because to him, his blood, his ability to use the sword makes him a warrior, but also connects him to the father that he hates. And therefore he hates himself and he hates the whole bloodline, which is why he can't be king. He can't rule these people. He has no desire to be this kind, benevolent figure to those that he despises, whereas Canute can be. Canute can be this Artorias figure. I think that's all I want to say for now. My head is kind of hurting a little bit. I have a bit of a headache, so trying to form sentences and an analysis is a little bit difficult right now. I am trying my best, so I probably have missed some key discussion points out, but I am doing what I can to try and talk about as much as I can remember and as much as what happened in the show, but my head is quite sore, so I'm going to leave it here for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. Until next episode, bye!